Hello, everybody. I'm not sure who's going to bother to watch this. Wolves 2, Aston Villa 0. Hello to all the Wolves fans who will be joyously perhaps watching this. And as for Villa, well, maybe my mum or dad or somebody like that. God only knows. Anyway, just a quick reaction to it because who's really going to want to talk too much about this? But really poor, just really, really poor. Yet again, from Villa, post-Champions League hangover. We just can't seem to get it going after Champions League games. We just can't. It's happened over and over again this season. I just don't trust this team, really, this season. After, last year it felt like when there were setbacks, Villa tended to bounce back really well. Or if they got a win, they'd go on a good run. This season, it just feels like the lack of form is really reflected, or the lack of consistency is really reflected within games itself. 20-minute spells where Villa look brilliant, and then 20-minute spells where we look absolutely chaotic, weak, overpowered. I think today, first half, we're playing with a scratch defensive right back who's never played in English football. New to the club, very young. And then you've got Boubacar Kamara, our best midfielder, going to centre back. Again, that's completely and utterly not ideal at all. So look, yes, you can say like we're missing Powell, missing Tyrone Mings, missing Matty Cash. It is going to impact you no matter what, and you're losing Boubacar Kamara as well because Kamara is our best centre midfielder, and as a CDM today. Away at Wolves, you're gonna want as sort of strong and physically opposing, competitive a centre midfield as you can get. So yeah, I thought. Let me know what you think. Please comment. Please do all that sort of stuff. But yeah, I just thought we were. I don't know. I just thought we were. First half, really, really poor. Possibly the worst half I've seen under Unai Emery. Possibly the worst half of football I've seen under Unai Emery since he came to the club. But it wasn't really a surprise. I think that was the thing. I just didn't trust Villa today. I just didn't. I think even before the tone of my voice when I was talking about it wasn't feeling positive, even though Wolves have been in terrible form themselves. Wasn't feeling it massively, really. And lo and behold, first half, as I say, scratch defence, but Villa were outfought. Watkins, Rodgers, anonymous. Every ball that did go to Watkins bounced off him. Garcia, I think, had one or two good moments going into the final third, which I think long term, maybe hopefully that will transform into, him being a very good progressive fullback. But defensively looked, as you'd imagine on his debut, looked quite suspect. Kamara, again, I think he did as good a job as he possibly could do as centre back. It's a bloody impossible role, really, when it's thrown in a left centre back, which is our most important role for starting moves within the team. And then basically what would happen a lot is that Villa would get forward, and if there was one vague chance that we might do something with a quick 1-2, instead of doing that 1-2, we would turn straight back, pass it to a defender, and it's just the same old cycle of recycle, try a forward pass, lose it, Wolves hit the attack. First goal, Andres Garcia sends a ball into Watkins. I think that it bounced off Watkins, just bounced off him. In one of them games where it does that. And then lo and behold, and then from there, Bellegarde moves forward. It felt like sixes and sevens, really. Kamara not really following Bellegarde, and Garcia keeping Bellegarde on side. And that's the problem when you're playing with a defence who haven't played together and lack experience in those roles. But then, first half was absolutely pathetic, really, just really pathetic. And no wonder he made 4 substitutions at half time. I thought Dean looked did not look good again. I'm slightly concerned that West Ham game where he's put centre back slightly rocked him a bit, because I didn't think he was great against Celtic, and I thought he was not good tonight. When Maatsen came on, Maatsen looked much, but he came on and did well against Celtic. He looked good again tonight. Actually, he was one of our few players I think comes out with some credit. The second half, look, Villa came out and we pressed harder. We tried a lot harder. Had Watkins been fit, who knows? Maybe he'd have been there to get a goal. But in the end, wow, we were robbed by VAR. You just cannot. You cannot disallow that goal. I don't think it's impacted. I think it's Nelson Semedo. The argument is that Rodgers impacted how he ran. I just don't think he did. No, I don't think so. Marlon, it was a good goal, and I think had Villa that counted, Villa maybe go on and win the game. I think Wolves were victims of it last season. I seem to remember that who are the teams that have had the most sort of VAR decisions wrongly judged against them. I think this season Villa, from what I remember reading recently, Villa were the team who'd had the most go against them. It really feels like it, and Wolves were the ones last season that had a lot of it go against them. Now, look, I don't tend to criticise referees on this very often because, it's been a talking point recently, hasn't it? There's a culture, I think, sometimes of conspiracies. There's a culture of, makes it a life very, very difficult for referees. But there are occasions this season where they've made life hard for themselves. And you look at that Celtic game on Wednesday, and that French referee, I didn't notice him really. He just gets on with it, and it's just there's no drama. Whereas it just feels continuously at the moment when I'm watching Premier League games, I feel like referees are just it just feels like they're far too involved. I'm just annoyed I'm having to talk about it. I don't want to talk about referees. They are not making logical decisions. The John Duran red card, obviously, and then PG Mel digging a hole for itself. I'll get to the comments in a sec. I can see there's a few coming through. And then, this tonight, again, another one. And I partly slightly theorised that one thing that might be causing issues is that there's this higher bar now for second yellow cards. And they mentioned it a couple of times on commentary today, actually. And this season, there's been 3 occasions where players blatantly should have been sent off against Aston Villa for second yellow cards. Last week against West Ham, Marcus Rashford, ironically, for Manchester United earlier this season. And the other one's going out of my head now, but there was definitely another one that should have been. Sam Morsey for Ipswich. And when you continually see decisions like that clearly are wrong, and then on top of that they make other mistakes, it just feels like this is where a lot of frustration is coming from. Look, I mean, it's not to detract from the fact that Villa were awful in that first half. Second half, Villa did pick it up, but again, the problem was a lot other than the goal that should have counted, and maybe Villa go on and win it from there. But it just felt like that getting into that final third, Villa just don't. We talk about this, the fact that Villa have a lot of direct runners. We don't really have a player of the profile of a Joao Felix or what Buendia is, but can't seem to find his form at the moment. Players who are just sort of lock pickers, and Marlon's having to do a difficult role as a striker, and he missed a couple of big chances, actually. Probably should have scored in the 87th minute. Again, if it's Watkins, maybe it goes in. But yeah, just not. I don't know. There's been a few occasions this season where I've thought in the final third we don't look like we're imaginative enough or something. But I think Maatsen really tried to make things happen. So I think credit to him. I think Marlon did a lot of work in a very difficult position, got himself into position for chances, should have had a goal stand. So I think fair play to him. Bailey, it's not happening, man. It's just not happening this season for him. again, I like to think we defend Villa players as much as we can on this channel. We spent 2 years defending Leon Bailey. He was absolutely exceptional last season. This year, whether it's Diaby going, whether he's getting doubled up on, whether it's just his confidence of form, it's not happening. And it's 4 years of Villa and 2.5 seasons that haven't been very good. And tonight, again, he started off quick. He was fast. He was moving. He looked like he was going to be at it. He starts slipping over. He starts sitting down when he's nudged in the back towards the end of the game. And Onana I just didn't think Onana really imposed himself at all either. So fair play to Wolves. I think you've got to say that. Defensively, they were very, they did what they had to do. They went into a back five, and then they hit us on the break for that second goal. Villa always look vulnerable on the break. We look vulnerable when we play it out from the back at times. We get caught. We look vulnerable when we're on the break. This is a thing that Emery has had to, and the coaching staff have had to solve all season. We can see too many goals, and it's not fixing. It's not improving. It just isn't. Something structurally and fundamentally feels like it's wrong defensively this season compared to last season when we looked like we were always playing the high line and always catching teams offside. This year that just isn't the case, is it? We just look vulnerable all the time. There's a reason our goal difference is now -3. And there's a lot of teams above us who are dropping points all the time. A lot of teams are dropping points. It's giving us an opportunity to sort of get back in, and maybe if we sign Rashford in the next day or two, maybe add something we don't currently have. Maybe if we can get a Joao Felix or someone like that, and Jesus, if we can get a centre back, we need something in defence because we can't lose Kamara from the centre. We just can't. And you're asking such a lot of him to play in that left centre back role. It's just I just kind of feared this was coming today. I just sort of deep down feared it, and I just don't trust Villa at the moment, really. But look, we're still in touching distance for Europe. If we can go on a 5-6 game winning run, then maybe it's going to happen. But I just look at this team at the way we are this season, and I don't know if I see it really. But I don't know. Maybe that's just me talking after losing to Wolves. But I think there's too much evidence this season that we can't be trusted to not concede, and we can't be trusted to react to setbacks at the moment compared to last season when we really did. I'll bring up a few comments. British Mick, good to see you again, mate. Bored of this, frankly. I really don't know what to say. The Magic seems to be whimpering away. Yeah, I mean, obviously, injuries do play a part. I think the volume of games we play, that absolutely has to impact us as well. Look at Newcastle last season. But just when you say the Magic's whimpering away, I think it's the Villa's ability to come back from setbacks. We don't seem to be capable of it this season, really. T-Bang it. Hey, that was a shite show. We must accept it when Unai gets it wrong. Yeah, first half he got it wrong. He did. I think he knows it himself. I can honestly don't know who we are. We had an identity 2023. Now we're a mix of players out of position, not allowed to play long ball, instead being drills, pass it around the back. Yeah, 2023 felt like I felt like I really knew what Villa were last season. This season, I just feel like we're a bit odds and ends, and a bit when we hit teams on the transition and we have space to run into, we look like we can be dangerous. But sometimes when teams just sit against us, we look a bit like we don't really know how to break through it, and then we look really vulnerable if they just try and hit us on the break. Duncan, Marlon was robbed by VAR, but the first half was very poor. Why didn't Emery start the second half team with legs in the first half? Yeah, I think he's probably asking himself that one as well, why he didn't start that team that was in the second half in the first half, because we just looked all over the place, really. We all knew Watkins gets injured, so for us, absolutely unbelievable. Just the player who never gets injured, as soon as you sell John Duran, gets injured. I mean, madness. We'll see how long term that is. I'd like to think it won't be. Felt the guys were not at it today from Rob P. Head's still half in the Champions League, half in the transfer news. Yeah. That's part of the question, isn't it, about Champions League? And I think that's what really sets you apart as an elite team, is when you can get yourself amped up for every single game, not just Bayern Munich, the game that follows it, not just Celtic, the game that follows it. And unfortunately, it feels like this season we haven't really been able to do that. And it could cost us Europe. It could. And it means Villa have to climb another mountain again to get back into Europe, because if we don't make it, you look at Tottenham, you look at Manchester United, you look at Chelsea, they all have PSR advantages over Villa, and it's hard. It's hard to compete with them. Richie Ryan, so poor again from Villa, offered nothing attack and even worse defensively. Yeah. Can't disagree with that, really. Another day, Marlon would have had 2 goals and would have a point, but our defence is poor. So compared to the last one, comment, that's true. Marlon, I think fair play to Marlon. He had a very tough role, and the goal should have counted. And I think that his movement got himself into positions to create stuff, and he was the only player who really looked like scoring. I think on that note, I think Rodgers was followed around a lot, but I think Rodgers has had a few games recently where when he's bad, he's bad. And I think there's a danger with Rodgers at times. I think he's a fantastic player. He's still maturing as a player, but there is a slight danger at times where it can look like he releases the ball at the wrong time, or he just holds on for a second longer than he needs to, which is the nature of who he is. He's trying to make things happen, and when they come off, it's brilliant. But in games where it keeps not coming off, it looks really, really bad and can look a bit indulgent. But look, that's not me going too hard on Rodgers. I think he's been one of our players of the season. He's a great young talent, but he's still learning. But yeah, I think Duncan's right. I think we've got to give praise to Marlon. I think he really did try to make things happen. Rob Hatton, they completely nullified us down the left by doubling up on Ramsey. Yeah. I think Ramsey actually started the game quite well. He looked like he was confident. But yeah, they got on him, and it just felt like Villa couldn't do anything that first half. Goal should have stood. Yeah, should have done. Absolutely. We should have taken the game to them. Disrespecting Wolves of playing the team in the first half has cost us. VAR, ref issues also. Yeah, all of that. T-bang it. All of it. Ref should have gone to the screen. Yeah, I'd love to know why the official raised his flag. Maybe he thought it was offside. I don't know how they can judge Rodgers to have disrupted Nelson Semedo. It's just beyond me. It's just absolute rubbish. Villa deserve to lose end of. If not, you get punished. Defensive recruitment now, real crisis. Yeah, Villa did deserve to lose, and we need a new centre-back. Shocking performance from Senoir. Yeah, it was. The ref messed us about with the Wolves subs. It slowed the game up in the last 15 minutes. Also, why is Duran not used while he's here? I think Duran's gone. He's gone. He's fully off. He's in Saudi Arabia right now. Without Ollie and a proper defence, we ended up in the bottom half of the table. I think the point about the Wolves subs, that was a shambles, wasn't it? God, what was that all about? When a team's on a bad run, Villa play to stop the rot. Yeah. Erin Pimentel, it was embarrassing. Why do we always drop points to bottoms teams? We stretched thin, but still embarrassing. Yeah, first half was embarrassing. It was really, really poor display. Anyway, Wolves for the drop and Cunha to Villa in June from Duncan. Yeah. Looking at Cunha tonight, yet again, you'd take him. You would take him. But there's going to be a lot of teams in for him this summer. And if Arsenal go for him, he's going to Arsenal. T-Banger, our mindset is not right against lower teams. We're a bit arrogant once cruise games not work. Yeah, mindset could be an issue. Bailey does not fit the system. Emery doesn't use traditional wingers. Yeah. Something's off with Bailey this season. He's back to the bad old Bailey the first year or two. It's not happening. I hope Disasi's coming. Seriously need squad players. Yeah. I hope we have some centre back so we can put Kamara back in bloody midfield. Once to get his finger on the pulse, had enough time to get players in. Gone on far too long. We are leaving it late. Been unlucky with a couple of injuries, but yeah. Kevin M, we are missing that killer pass in the middle of the park. Yeah, sometimes Tielemans pulls it off, sometimes Rogers pulls it off, but there are games like tonight where we just can't get it off at all. Ken M, we're missing Douglas Luiz. Yeah, definitely. We do miss him. He's a really good player. Antonian are Villa bottlers. No, I don't think so. No, I don't think we're bottlers. I think we're I think we're just struggling to adjust to Champions League and Premier League, and I think we're struggling to adjust to having a fair few players out injured. And I think were I to be critical of Villa this season with how we play, I do think there are occasions when we play out from the back that we really, really invite a bit too much pressure on our fullbacks, and it's difficult for them to play it out, and then they start to panic, they make a mistake, and yeah, there are occasions when sometimes just knock it long, mate. Like, because I mean, overall, Emery clearly doesn't want that style. There's reasons to think that knocking it long just leads to even more trouble, because then you absolutely see possession. But yeah, there have just been occasions this season when we play out from the back that I don't feel as comfortable watching us this season as I did last season. I thought we nailed it last year. Duncan, hopefully Rashford, Felix, and Asensio in. Yeah. Sort of fear one or two of them watched that tonight and thought, maybe not. Richie, I really didn't think we played well since January last year. 1 year playing mediocre. If we weren't in Champions League, questions would be asked of Emery. We've not been as good in the last calendar year. I think that's true. I think we started last season absolutely brilliantly. The first year under Emery, we were amazing. Since January last year, what happened from January to April last year? I repeated this phrase over and over again. We went from composed to casual. In games, we would go from being 3-0 up, then we concede 2, and it'd be 3-2, or we'd be 2-0 up, go to 2. Think of Brentford last season, 2-0 up, cruising, then they go and score 3 quick-fire goals, and it's 3-2. Pull it back to 3-3. We're battering Forest 3-0 at home, and then suddenly they make it 3-2. Really quickly. We win that game 4-2, but Chelsea, 2-0 up. They pull it back to 2-2. Luton, 2-0 up away from home. They pull it back to 2-2. We win late on 3-2. There were a lot of warning signs that we were doing this towards the end of last season, and it felt like something had to change defensively. Now, maybe we have tried to do that. We're playing slightly differently to what we did last season. It feels like the high line's not as high this season, but nothing's improved defensively this year. It's got worse. Yeah, it just has. And we look like a team who belong in 7th, 8th place because we can't play well for 90 minutes at the moment. We just can't seem to do it. Even Celtic the other day, 2-0 up, cruising, 2-2. Before we know it, yeah. I think we had low energy, put a lot in during the Celtic game from games done 12. Yeah, that's true. Keep the faith, boys, from games done. Yeah, no, we should. Look, it's a bad day out, but we can do better. Sorry, sends around for replacements. Pure madness when you have a player like Watkins and misses more than he scores. I think Duran just had with the fee we got. With the incessant noise level around, the constant aim to move during transfer windows, I can see why he had to go. I can, and if Rashford comes in, that's probably a replacement, isn't it? Time for some questions over Martinez. Continue conceding from first shot. His golden eye stats in bottom 5 in the Prem. Yeah, he's not been as good this year. He's made a couple of massive saves. He's a brilliant goalkeeper, but at the same time as well, that shot tonight, when it is near post, but the defender Bellegarde managed to get so close to the goal anyway that if he hit it hard, he had a real chance of scoring, and he did. Low and hard, and it was hard to save that. Rogers burnout is a risk. Yeah, it is. And I think we need a different we need a Buendia style player who's playing better than Buendia, is kind of what I would say. Richard Grosvenor, utter garbage, mate, tonight. Munch out. I think it'd be too early to say munch out, but we need to give it a bit of time really on that. But utter garbage, yeah, first half was. Don't worry, we can win the Champions League. Yeah, I like your thinking. Richard Grosvenor, Frankie, mate, you're one of the best Villa vloggers on socials. Love your output. Thank you so much. That's extremely kind. Really, really kind. Thank you very much, Richard. I really appreciate all your comments as well. You often write comments for us. Please like and subscribe. If you watch this, please subscribe. Please like. It just helps us grow and keep on doing this because, yeah, I just want to keep on doing this. I love doing it. I love meeting fellow Villa fans, talking about it, whatever else. The remote property flipper. First half was pathetic, zero excuses. Second half was better by the officiating. Yeah, that's fair. Second half, we definitely turned it on. And if that goal counts, which it should have done, maybe we go on and win it. But yeah. Any updates on Disassi? Nothing I've seen. And then the Antonian, Merry Christmas Wolves. Yeah. Gave him a couple of gifts tonight, didn't we? So yeah, just not a good day at the office for Aston Villa. A deserved loss, but and as well, another bad day for Premier League officials. I can't believe how often I'm having to talk about this. I just never talk about referees because I don't care, but it's been not good this season. And yeah, I think half theorizes the second yellow card higher bar is what's causing some of the problems because they're allowing things to go that shouldn't go. It's causing frustration, makes people think they're useless, and then when they make other big mistakes, then it all just adds up. And I just feel like Villa have had quite a few bad things go against them this year. But that's just not really an excuse for how we played in the first half and not really an excuse for losing 2-0. So, yeah, I think that's probably enough for tonight. Please like, please subscribe, please share, all that stuff. I was really hoping to be able to do this and be all happy and joyous, but wasn't to be. But, yeah. I'll do some more live streams this week and we can chat chinwag away all together again. But until then, come on, Super Aston Villa. We're better than this. Up the mighty Villa.